Welcome to the best 3,000 songs I've heard so far, The Chart Show, an audio revelation of a snapshot in time provided by two gurus of absolutely nothing, save for a bunch of occasional informed and well self-assured opinions about the music reviewed from various genres and years presented on this show. Hey dude, let's go.
Hello and welcome to part two of our rock concert extravaganza. On our previous show we did the Live Aid concert from 1985. In the next show we will be capping off this three-part series with the Monterey Pop Festival from 1967. But this show is Woodstock from August of 1969. And I think this is maybe the most, well, not even maybe, it's the most well documented and famous concert, or at least famous compilation concert of tons of artists in the rock music era.
So, exactly. I agree.
I'm your co-host, Joseph Gwynn. As always, Mr. Dennis Talbot.
Hello. Part
of the Clay Huff Mafia that we both belong to, along with Jerry and Donnie and Matt.
James. Oh, and James was the name. James was a...
Kim and Stephanie. And
was brought into Clay Huff.
Yeah, so...
Mafia, but yeah.
But we're happy to be back with you for this second part. And so, as always, we do a chart show, because this is the chart show. And this is the week ending, I believe it is the 16th of August,
yes.
1969. We'll be going through the top 40 songs on the pop charts that week. And then we will be discussing the concert itself and some of the influence that it had on the music world and on the world in general coming out of that. We're going to go ahead and start the show right now with the number 40 song by a group that in 1969 started their rocket ship tour of popularity for the next 4 or 5 years, only to flame out after that. And that song is Easy to Be Hard by Three Dog Night. The lead singer on this song was Chuck Negron, a fantastic singer. All of them were good. Chuck Negron was my favorite. And not a song that I'll ever dislike. Not a song that I'll ever consider to be my favorite, but a good song.
Yeah, this is one of two songs from Three Dog Night on this top 40 chart. Between the two, one's was a super hit and one is not. This song here, like I said, is a good song. Is it my favorite? No. But a decent song. And it's one that I really hadn't heard in a long time. I had to actually go back and listen to it. But decent song.
It's got a fun video on YouTube for those of you who would like to see it. Because the beginning of it's like a demolition derby. Very strange. It was from someone from TV show. Number 39 is by a group that was kind of forgotten in a lot of ways in the Motown era, which they eventually left and became even larger. But they still had some good Motown years ahead of them. Their previous hit song was a song that was later made more famous by Marvin Gaye. Heard it through the grapevine. This is Gladys Knight and the Pips. And this song is The Nitty Gritty.
It's one of those ones, again, it's really interesting for, as much as I like Woodstock and all the bands in the Woodstock, that was at Woodstock, I had to listen to a bunch of these songs. I was 4 years old when this basically came out. It would have been what?
Yeah, you'd have just turned. You'd have just turned 4.
Turned 4. So
I was still waiting.
So this wasn't on my. This is not on my chart, but there's a lot of songs that came out of this that became standards and rock standards at the time. But there's a lot of these songs that are, and the thing is, I know most of the people who played the songs on these. The songs themselves were on the charts, dropped off the charts, and then forgotten. A lot of these. And Gladys Knight and the Pips had a lot of great tunes. This is one of the ones. It's a great tune. but I don't remember it. So
I know the song. I listen to a lot of 60s and 70s, especially soul and R&B music, but also
right. You would know this
pop and
more than
rock.
I would.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a it's not a song that escapes me.
Right.
But is it my favorite of their songs? No,
Right.
by far. But number 38 is a song that I can't place right now, but it's a fantastic song for me, and it's "Reconsider Me," as this is the era of having phones in your hands at all times. I'm looking this up as we go through.
Well, while you're looking, personally, another one of those songs where I honestly do not remember it. Had to look it up, listen to it. Still didn't really remember it. Decent song. Don't get me wrong. I like the song. Just not.
Now I know why I know it.
So how do you know it? How is it?
Well, if it's the same
What's
song. I could be wrong. No.
Maybe not. We don't know.
Well, let's see here. But yeah, it's by a guy by the name of Johnny Adams. But it really is a fun song, especially for those people who like a little bluesy music like I do. This is
no, it's a good song. It just kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't really. To me, it didn't fit this era. I don't know. It just.
Well, but I mean that's
it's kind of old. It's like an old school song.
I think that's maybe one of the things that we as retroactively looking at this era, it's maybe hard for us to identify with, is the fact that on a lot of these music charts that we do from times before we were heavy and avid music buyers and listeners, there was a greater mixture of well, let's just put it this way, there wasn't as much homogeneity as ultimately it became in the late 70s and early 80s.
Right.
Which may be why I actually love these songs more than most.
Well, I mean, these charts, they span a lot more genres, the top 40 back then that they do now.
Which I like.
It kind of back then it was like there were well, I don't think that they categorize things in so many genres as we have now. Everything's so you're categorized in a spot.
Right.
And back then it was music. You had music. You had either classical or you were country or you were pop. But pop included rock, included soul.
Well, it eventually did because before the rock and roll era, pop was.
Pop wasn't even a.
It was no, it was it was it
Well,
was it, no, it really was it. But it was more lighthearted music.
Sure.
It wasn't. Devil's music, as a lot of the R&B artists were considered, playing Satan songs,
Right.
Which I identify not with Satan but with the music more.
Right.
But anyway, definitely if you've not heard that song before, give it a listen.
A decent listen. Number 37 is interesting. It's from the Letterman, and it's "Hurt So Bad." This song has been remade how many times, Joe? You think?
Oh, I don't know how many times, but 3 times that we know of where it was actually chart worthy, as it were.
Linda Ronstadt would have been the last.
Yeah, and I really hate her version of it.
I actually like that song.
Yeah,
I honestly, I don't have a problem with it. This was, like I said, this is a Letterman. And then
But the original was Little Anthony and the Imperials,
Right.
probably 6 or 7 years before this, and it is an amazing version.
And after listening to the Letterman's version of it and hearing
Wasn't
the
bad.
Imperials version of it, Little Anthony and the Imperials, and knowing Linda Ronstadt's, I would put the first version best.
Oh, by far.
And I would put probably Linda Ronstadt's second and put this third.
Yeah, and
The
I
Lettermans,
I would switch that.
They were a singing group, and they were, it was.
Ooh,
I mean,
it was pop music.
It was definitely pop.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I would definitely not put Linda Ronstadt. Probably, I'm sure that some monks in Tibet probably recorded a version I would like better than
I like Linda
hers.
Ronstadt's version, so
Yeah.
you shoot me.
Well, I would, but anyway.
As long as it wasn't premeditated, you make.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, all right, number 36, good old rock and roll medley, Cat Mother and the All Night News Boy. It's got to be the longest title for or name for a band ever. It takes a lot of syllables there.
It really does.
Great little tune.
Compilation song, yeah.
And it was, it's a smile. It makes you smile. Great tune.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Forgettable, but fun.
Yeah, fun song. So it's a lot better. It's a lot funner than the next song.
The next song, on the other hand...
And you know what? I don't want to bag on the King, because we've only talked about the King twice now on the top 40.
That's true.
And both songs that we've had to talk about are not...
Donkey balls.
They're... Once again, the Colonel picked these fucking songs.
Oh, fuck the Colonel.
And you know what? He basically... It's sad.
It really is.
It is sad.
And if you look at the historical outcome,
right?
Remember, it was 67 or 68, where he had the comeback tour.
With Back in the Black, and he's all
he was less weight. He had perfect hair, was great performances.
Right. Had the guys from the basically a lot of the guys from the Wrecking Crew.
Right.
Sitting there with him.
Had stopped making the shit fuck movies for the most part, other than a few of them.
It's like, let's get back into rock and roll.
Right.
And Elvis is back. His comeback tour.
Right. But this
and then
show...
afterwards, let's put him in a sequins jumpsuit like he's a wrestler, and let's...
Exactly.
Oh, Lord.
Well, and
and the thing is, I love Elvis. Don't get me wrong.
Clean Up Your Own Backyard, by the way, is the title of the song.
I tell that to my neighbor. I don't tell that to Elvis, and Elvis shouldn't be telling anybody else that.
No, this was...
It's a horrible song.
Yeah, it really, really sucks. So...
And I never really heard it, and we sit here, both of us listened to it. As soon as it got to the chorus, we went, okay, we're done.
Yeah, it was quick.
And you know what? It's so sad. Elvis had so much talent. He shouldn't be singing songs like this.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, Sam Phillips couldn't afford to keep him.
Right.
So he went to RCA, and that was kind of the beginning of the demise. I mean, he made a shitload of money with RCA from 56 onward.
Okay, but yet, let's just stop for a second. You're a producer. You have Elvis Presley in your studio. Are you going to make him sing a song like this? To be honest, I'd be like, dude, let's just give us a few. Sit down, Elvis. Let's write something. Let's do something better. Let's make something.
But see, but that's not how these unscrupulous cocksuckers are, because it's
seriously.
I mean, these guys like, I tell you what, go get a bunch of fortune cookies from Wing Fats down the street, and we'll paste them all together and write a song.
But I mean, you have Elvis Presley. I mean, the name itself will sell albums, and you have the talent. You got a great.
That's
studio.
just it. The name itself sells the albums.
True.
That's what.
Why,
these are septic songs.
But why attach
complete
it to
down the
a
shitter.
piece of shit song like this?
I don't know.
And the one previous that we talked
Well,
about.
luckily it did not climb from... I assume this is the peak, because
I hope this was
2 weeks in a row it was at number 35.
This little pecker just went poop and then gone.
Indeed.
And we love you, the King. Like I said, I love Elvis.
He did a little less conversation. These later songs. That was a great song.
I would have heard
In the Ghetto.
I'd rather him do a religious tune.
Oh, he was good at that.
I mean, other than to hear this shit. I mean, this is just bullshit.
No, I agree.
All right, I'm done.
For now, we'll come back to that. We'll have the same fucking rant every time Elvis comes on.
He's like an old man. Clean up your own backyard. Damn it.
No shit.
You little shits.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Number 34.
Some Creedence. CCR.
Not a Creedence fan.
Yeah. And Commotion was one that I had never heard. Once again, I had to really pull up on this list because it was I was 4 years old. But that being said, I'm a big Creedence fan. So if this would have been a big Creedence song, this would have been one of the ones on their, ones I would have heard later or a greatest hits. Guess what? This song is not on a greatest hits album from Creedence.
No. I mean,
for a reason.
For me, other than Fortunate Son and
right.
The absolute fabulous song from American Werewolf in London, Bad Moon Rising,
right. But I mean, being in a cover band in high school, you played Creedence. I mean, from the 70s, you played Creedence.
I didn't like those fuckers then either. So
I didn't like it a lot either, but that's what you played. That's
yeah.
what, you were expected to play.
But number 33, on the other hand.
Here you go.
This is a Lieber and Stoller song, the famous songwriting team of Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller from the 1950s. This song was first recorded by the Coasters in a very fun and good version. Lieber and Stoller, I think they wrote Jailhouse Rock, speaking of the King.
Really?
Yeah, and so many other songs. They were probably the first great songwriting duo to come out of the, I don't know if they were in the Brill Building, but they were definitely New York songwriters. And I think they've even had a Broadway play of their songs.
Right.
Because, like, on Broadway, Up on the Roof, these songs like this.
Sure.
But anyway.
This is another one of these songs that come from that. I would even consider them top 40. These are these funny fives, or like the Dr. Demento. They come on these because Ray Stevens was one of these.
And this
artists.
is Ray Stevens.
Ray
Along
Stevens
Came Jones.
was an early Weird Al Yankovic.
Ahab the Arab.
I mean, and he's still to this day. He is in Branson, still playing this song. I'll guarantee it.
You gotta look.
Our friend Matt and his mom and dad are watching these. Have probably seen it.
Our
lately.
friend Matt DeVille. Yes, DeVille.
He is a Branson. He is a Branson.
Branson kid.
He's a Branson kid. Actually, I got a note for him today and saying I hope I was okay with my back, and I said we gotta get together soon, which we gotta go over and get him out.
Well, this asshole can come down here and do a show with us.
Anyway, he can. We'll
Yeah,
do a rush show.
motherfucker. Get off your ass and come down here.
But anyway, this song here kind of is including one of the. I always call them like funny songs or
Novelty songs.
Novelty songs.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
novelty
Ray
songs.
Stevens, Jim Stafford, even Jerry Reed at some point.
Oh, yeah, Jerry Reed.
A lot of those people, and not to knock the songs, they're great songs.
And Ray
They're
Stevens
just
is
known
one
as
talented
a kind
dude.
Of a funny tune.
Exactly.
And of course, I was surprised to see this in the actual top 40. So
Yeah.
it's good.
And we are going on to number 32.
Which is somebody who doesn't do funny songs.
No, she does fantastic
But she wants
songs.
4 fried chickens.
No, she doesn't want 4 fried chickens.
No, she doesn't.
She's taking the order for Jake and Elwood in the Blues Brothers movie. This is the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin.
Which we talked about in our last one.
In an okay song.
Yeah.
I mean, considering this was her Atlantic era when she got to Atlantic in 1967 and ultimately did some work with the Swampers, first down in Muscle Shoals and then bringing them to New York. This is an all right song considering some of the wonderful other songs that came out at that time period.
Right.
But yeah.
But here we've done 2 shows in a row, and they're spaced out almost 20 years apart.
Right, and same
And
artist.
she is also in the same.
Absolutely. 16 years difference. Yeah.
You know what? Give her cred where credit is due.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Aretha had that voice, and it carried on for a long time. So
Absolutely.
yeah, is it her best song? Nope.
No.
Good song.
But the next one, Dennis.
Yes. We are at Marrakesh Express. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. No Young on that one. That was just you have to always kind of watch that where Young popped up and down here. Excuse me.
Neil did his own thing.
Yeah, I'm not. Okay. I like Crosby, Stills, and Nash a lot. I can stand this one here. This is one of the ones that they did play at Woodstock. This is one. This comes into their set. Crosby, Stills, and Nash had some great tunes. I mean,
we should mention. These guys were at Woodstock.
They were at Woodstock, and their set was really, 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 really good. I am not a fan of David Crosby. Have never been a fan of them. I do like Stills and Graham Nash, Stephen Stills and Graham Nash. Crosby's just way too political for me. He preaches a lot for a guy who, he's been through 6 livers and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's way too political for his. Now, does he write great tunes and can sing? Yes, I'll give him that.
By the way, Creedence Clearwater Revival was also at Woodstock.
Yeah. Oh, of course they were.
Yeah. So we're kind of mentioning.
Right.
I want to make sure we mention.
Right.
Some of the groups that were actually at Woodstock, since is that.
As we're going along.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash. There are some songs I absolutely love. There's some songs.
And actually, their set at Woodstock was really, really, really good.
Right.
And
they did Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, for Judy Collins.
Right.
the inspiration for that. Sweet, S-U-I-T-E.
But Marrakesh Express, it's an okay song, and it's funny that they're one of the, well, they had, I say it's interesting that they had a hit on the, top 40 during that, so anyway.
Right.
All right, so number 30, we have "It's Getting Better" by Mama Cass. I love Mama Cass.
I do too. Fantastic.
This is not her best song ever.
Yeah, it was not getting better.
I'll give her that. That woman had a voice that was unfucking believable.
She was fantastic.
And all you got to do is just listen to the big hits. And listen to a little bit of California Dreaming, and then just hear her backup vocals.
Oh, the harmony.
Her
she
harmony
and Michelle
vocals,
Phillips, obviously,
yeah.
with John Phillips and Denny, what's his face?
I
can't think of it anyway.
But anyway, yeah, that, and the fact of that, if you ever see any of her, when she's doing solo stuff, oh my God, she had a voice that was just, unfreaking believable.
I agree.
And it's just one of those ones where she was she was a 27 Club, or she was
pretty close
to it.
Unfortunately,
it was, of course, it was always the thing where she choked on a ham sandwich.
That wasn't true, actually.
It was a fair. She had a heart attack,
right,
because of her weight. Of course, she was eating as she was sitting there in her chair, and her family always hated that. It's like, she choked on a ham sandwich. It's like, no, she didn't. She passed away. She passed away in it was in July of '74. I know.
Yeah.
And
shocking, actually.
But anyway, it was.
She was young.
I'll talk to you about that later.
Yeah.
But anyway, her voice was really angelic. She was actually almost a Karen Carpenter kind of person for me. Her voice, I really like her voice. She's different. She's different.
Not only that, her.
She's a powerhouse.
She had a TV special, and she was on there with, I think Joni Mitchell was on there, and I forgot the third person, but fantastic. Just, she had a personality. Right. She had stage presence.
Oh yeah, and she was actually. I just seen a thing on her recently where they were talking to her daughter, and she was on right before she passed away. She was doing some stuff in Vegas, doing this like a solo show.
Right.
And we're selling out every night.
Oh, absolutely.
And people were just like coming to, oh my gosh, I can't believe her voice.
Actually, if I think about it, she was Bette Midler before Bette Midler.
Sorta, yeah.
Because Bette Midler was one of these larger than life.
And she had that presence on stage where she was always kind of, and she was the butt of the joke. She was kind of a comedian, a female comedian.
Because of her size, she was self-deprecating, which, didn't make her any less beautiful.
And there was a lady that was around here, and that name escapes me right now, and I'll ask Rod for sure. Same deal. She was a woman who did a local deal, had a voice that was unbelievable. She was Cheryl Ladd's roommate for a long time, but she was 300 plus. Big girl, but she had a voice that was unbelievable. And on stage, she was like Rodney Dangerfield. She was like almost like Andrew Dice Clay on stage.
Well, when you look
she had a dirty mouth, but it was funny and classy the way she did it.
Yeah.
And she made fun of herself, and the way she did it, she was Crawford. Sherry Crawford was her name. And if you're from Evansville, Indiana, or anywhere close, if you ever seen Sherry Crawford back in the '90s, early 2000s. You know who I'm talking about. She was fun to go see.
Well, and I'll just, on the final point on that, it just goes to show you that too much is made of the looks of a person versus the talent. Because if that were the case, fucking Pavarotti wasn't exactly a skinny dude, and
nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So
and the thing was that she was okay with what it was.
She was comfortable with herself.
And then coming out, we're going back into Three Dog Night again, into a huge hit.
Huge hit. One. Again, with...
I think about this song a lot. While
Chuck Negron being the... you think about it at work, huh?
Yeah, I'll tell you the story about why I do that later.
Okay. I'm afraid already, goddamn. So,
if I said it right now, I would probably offend...
no more than you normally do, dude. So,
I'll tell you
anyway,
remind me to tell you a story.
But yeah, a huge hit. I mean, most people once they hear it, they'll
Did he
recognize
do so
it.
much coke at one time? He had so much sex, he split his penis in half.
Chuck Necron?
Yeah.
I don't know whether to be impressed or to cringe.
It was like one of those VH1 things where he said he was doing so much coke he didn't really recognize what he was doing, and he was having so much sex that he didn't realize it, but it was like ripping his dick in half.
I
mean, it sounds plausible.
Yeah, but next song.
You're just passing by that.
I'm going to pass that motherfucker completely out. So
sorry.
Anyway,
I thought I had something you didn't know about. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that's actually something I don't want to know about. Not just didn't.
So now we're going to talk about a band named after a cigarette pack. The Winstons.
This song was actually, I think, the Grammy Award winner for Best New R&B Group of that year. Color Him Father. It's got a Vietnam tinge because, as the lyric says, we lost our real man in the war. So it's about a man who married a woman and adopted all of her kids. Just a kind of one of those feel-good, okay songs. Catchy little tune. Can't really say much more about it. Not in love with the song, but not a bad song.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't really heard the song. Listened to it, wasn't offended by it. It was okay. Yeah. But it was something I had never heard or haven't heard since. So
the next one I'm going to introduce, though, because if you're a fan of The Office, and you know who Creed is, Creed Bratton,
yes,
the creepy dude on The Office.
Yep.
Creed Bratton was a member of this group up until this year. I don't know if he was a part of this group when this song came out, but this is the Grassroots, and I'd Wait a Million Years, which turned out to be a pretty decent hit for them. They'd already been around on the charts for a few years, still had a few more good years in them. I enjoy the hell out of the band. Just kind of a lighthearted pop approach to to the world.
Sure.
But yeah, it's
Grassroots had some great songs.
They really did. They really did. But yeah, that's Creed Bratton is a personal favorite of mine when I watch The Office.
Oh, I love The Office.
Yeah. But the next one, on the other hand,
this one.
Absolutely.
Take this one. Number 26. Yesterday When I Was Young by Roy Clark.
Love Roy Clark.
I love Roy Clark. I love him for his playing ability, his diversity in playing different instruments.
Amazing talent.
Not only different instruments, but being able to play different styles of music, between classical, between jazz, between country, between whatever, finger picking, whatever. This song itself, though, when my grandfather owned a boat dealership when I was a kid.
I remember there.
And Talbot's Boats. And we used to go to Robert Stadium every February. They had the boat show before spring. And my cousin and I, Leon, we would go down there. And, Wiki Radio, they always used to have these like little yellow balls that you could put on the end of your aerial on your car. Like little styrofoam balls.
Yeah.
We'd end up with probably like 300 or 400 of these by the end of the weekend. But when we were down there, had
you guys been fucking smart, you could have put them like in a in a big pen and jumped into them.
We should have.
But
the whole point was is we spent the whole day. We spent their weekend down there. But that was our biggest thing. We spent. Grandpa would pay us to stamp all of his literature. So we'd do the Talbot stamp, and then we go down. We'd hand out literature. What do we do? And we'd wax the boats and do stuff. But I remember.
I'm glad you didn't.
But I remember on
You're
Robert's.
too young to wax anything else.
I know. Well, the thing was too. The boat show always had the boat show queen. Oh. These were all seniors from whatever high schools from Evansville. Right. So we were junior high. Well, actually, we were probably in the grade school. But we were like walking around like little horny dudes going, hey, which one do you like best? Yeah. Follow them around.
And you and Leon were definitely going to score.
All right.
Right. Change it, butthead.
But the funny thing is they had this, whatever it was, radio system that always played songs in a loop.
Right.
And this song, the 1 year, and it was probably, it would have been 19, what year was this?
This is 69, dude.
69. Well, okay, so this would have been 75, 76. This song was on the loop that time.
Right.
And I must have heard this song over the weekend probably 300 times. It's crazy. But anyway, that's why I wanted to introduce this song.
Well, right on.
So, and I don't have burnout on it because it just reminds me of being a kid, you know, having the run of Robert Stadium, running around grabbing wiki balls, and just fucking having a great time.
I'm glad you weren't grabbing other balls. Pervy little fuckers.
Anyway, so that's, I mean, it's a funny little story about music. I
It
just went
is.
back, I just took a time machine.
You did, and we
That's
do
fun.
that on this show, and
That's fun.
that's one of the fun things we do.
But I love Roy Clark, love the song.
Yeah, loved him on Hee Haw, loved him on,
Oh,
on
yeah.
everything.
Everything.
So, please do the next one as well.
Alright, so the next one is 25, I'll Never Fall in Love Again by Tom Jones.
I love Tom
Everybody's
Jones,
mother loved Tom Jones.
but this song was mediocre at best.
Very much so mediocre.
This
I was kind of especially excited to see a Tom Jones song on here, and then after listening to it, I was like, okay. It wasn't horrible. Tom never sings anything horrible. But is it a hit? No. Not a
Yeah.
not a hit song.
It did jump 6 spots that week, but I have a feeling it didn't jump a hell of a lot
I think
higher.
it jumped, yeah. Probably took a jump backwards after
I would think so. Number 24, on the other hand, I want to introduce because, as we mentioned, this show, the chart show, emanated out of our idea of not the podcast. This is the podcast, of course. Out of the music blog that Dennis and I each do on Facebook with the title "The Best 3,000 Songs I've Heard So Far."
Right.
We each have our own version. We just differentiate them by our initials at the end of the at the end of the title. This is a song that I love, and this week I posted it on my list.
Oh, did you? I didn't.
And I didn't even think that this was going to be coming up with this. But why I love this song is a couple of reasons. First of all, when we were kids, we used to watch the Archies.
I had the comic books. I loved the comic
Yeah,
books.
but this was a Saturday morning cartoon. That's how
I
this.
never watched the cartoon.
Well, this became popular on the cartoon. You know, I was 4 at the time. You were 5 already. Or 3.
But I had the
3 or 4.
comic books. Got a ton of them.
But why I really love this song,
Oh,
and it's a bubblegum pop song written by Andy Kim,
right.
who's actually on this list this week. Had other hit songs that he wrote, and a couple of big hits like "Rock Me Gently" in,
Right.
in the mid '70s and so
Was he the
forth.
one that sang it?
Yeah,
Okay.
but not on this one. No, I
Okay.
can't remember the singer's name.
But we know who played it.
Right, the
Wrecking Crew.
Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
But the next year,
We don't know exactly who it was. It was
right,
just-
well, they were all good. The next year, my favorite version of this song came out, and that's the one I highlighted on my blog, and that's when this fun little poppy song gets done by Wicked Wilson Pickett
right.
and the Swampers, and you slow down the tempo, and all of a sudden this fun little song becomes a grown ass man song, and
Sugar.
when you know, even though he doesn't sing "Pour a Little Sugar on Me,"
Right.
you can damn well bet that whatever chick he was grooving
We ain't
to.
talking about cereal.
We ain't talking about cereal, exactly. So she.
Which I actually have a copy of this. Off
That's
the
right. You
backs-
showed me.
off the back of I think it was a Cheerios or a honeycomb
Probably
box.
honeycomb.
When we were kids, they actually put records on the backs of boxes
That's right. 4 record players.
for record players.
Yeah.
And you cut the cardboard thing out. I have a Bobby Sherman. I have a couple of Archies.
Julie.
And I
do
have
you
a-
hate me? Yes, I hate you.
But they were actually, you got them off the back of a cereal box.
Right. Exactly.
played them.
And then you fucked up your stylus on your record player.
And also, Mad Magazine had these little pieces of vinyl, square vinyls. Remember those?
Yes, I do.
And you pull them out, and you could put them on your record player, and they were, I mean, the cheapest vinyl you could get, but it actually played on your record player.
Well,
So
yeah,
they haven't done that in
exactly.
years. So
Well, that perhaps you can take a photograph of that, and when
I
we
will.
post the
I'll
show,
post it. I will post
you
it.
can add that on there for
Yeah, I
anybody
will.
who is not familiar
Yeah,
with exactly what we're talking about, because it really is a cool
it is.
cool thing. But
Back in the late or early 70s.
yeah, definitely enjoyed the hell out of this song. Number 23 is "Good Morning Starshine" by Oliver. Oliver, North Carolina singer, who think he might have been nominated for an Oscar for the song Jean from the movie The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, which starring Maggie Smith, who's still kicking around at 413 years old in movies, but a great actress nonetheless.
Right.
But,
Good
you know,
song, though. I like
good
it.
song, yeah.
Good one. I like it.
The next one,
21. Is that right?
22.
22. Oh, working on the groove thing. The fifth dimension.
Working on a groovy thing.
A groovy thing.
Yeah.
I wrote that wrong. Sorry.
I may have mentioned this in a previous show, but
I can't see.
Marilyn McCoo, one of the absolute most beautiful women to have ever graced a stage.
She's pretty.
Even at 94 years old or whatever the hell she is now, she's still amazing.
Was she
looking.
still alive?
Yeah, she and
No
she and
shit.
Billy Davis Jr. both, her
Wow,
husband.
that's crazy.
They were both members of this group, the Fifth Dimension.
Up and away. My
Yeah.
beautiful balloon.
But
She was a pretty woman.
But the next song, number 21, I want to kind of jump into a little bit because this is one of my favorite people ever. This group, The Impressions,
It made an impression on you.
more than an impression. The original lead singer of The Impressions was the Iceman, Jerry Butler. This was in the 1950s. Jerry Butler jumped out on his own for an amazingly successful solo career over the next 20 years, which left a guy that wasn't the lead singer to become the lead singer, a man who would go on to become inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once with this group and once as a solo artist, and that is the wonderful Curtis Mayfield.
Right.
And so this song, if you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose, my brother? Obviously a bit of a civil rights, not a bit, it was a civil rights tinged song, and great song. Curtis just had an amazing voice. This was prior to him jumping out and going solo, recording the Superfly soundtrack, etc. But just a fantastic person and singer. So, the next one, on the other hand, is a very
Oh,
interesting.
Lord. Can we just... Okay, number 20. Give Peace a Chance, the Plastic Uno Band.
Who gives a shit? We're going to lay in bed. All we are saying.
Fuck those guys. I'm serious.
I love John Lennon.
I love
my
John
favorite,
Lennon. Don't
my
get me
favorite
wrong.
Beatle.
Don't get me wrong. I love John Lennon. John Lennon is he's a poet. He's a great musical. He's great. He just hooked up with the wrong bitch. I'm sorry.
Well,
I mean,
he fell in love with
he
some of
fell
that.
in love with somebody.
He got some strange, and she was indeed strange.
She was strange. And
The Plastic Ono Band was how this was titled. Give Peace a Chance.
Sorry. I'm going to offend a lot of people on this. And you know what? I really don't give a shit. I honestly don't give a shit. I mean...
You never do.
Yoko Ono has no music ability to her. The thing is, those people will talk about, Paul McCartney and Linda, how he kind of brought her along, and, she played keyboards, and they unplugged her mic, and all blah, 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 blah,
Probably
blah.
unplugged the keyboard, too.
Well, whatever. You know what, though? She had more talent in her little finger than
Linda Eastman, his wife you're talking about, was an amazing photographer and has a coffee table book of a lot of her photographs of that era.
But she has more talent than Yoko in her little finger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Lord. I got another thing to say, but I won't say it on here. But I'll tell you that afterwards.
Well, I'm sure.
I think you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we'll go.
I'm sure. What's the next one here?
Oh. Where were we at? Oh,
Number 19.
The Pledge of Love.
My Pledge of Love.
Yeah,
the Joe Jeffrey Group.
Yeah. Not familiar with that whatsoever. Heard it kind of for the first time. Not.
It's all right.
Yeah, it is okay.
It was one of those meh,
It's 10 times better than the Plastic Ono Band.
Well, yeah. but give Peace a Chance. I do like the song. I mean, it's a chant. It's not really a song.
So you hear the first sentence, you've heard the song.
Well, yeah.
So it's not a song.
But you know what, dude? The same fucking thing with Hey Jude or Let It Be, which I can't stand either one of those songs.
No, because they got a little bit different to it. They got a little bit.
Of course, Hey Jude, going back to The Wicked Picket, his version of Hey Jude is one I can tolerate. Right. Let It Be, on the other hand, I fucking hate that song.
There's so much better than that. Anyway.
But this song, My Pledge of Love, like I said, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18.
So, 18 is from a show that when I was a kid, my grandmother used to babysit for me, and I have a distinct memory. She had one of these folding yardsticks.
Right.
You know how it folds down.
Oh
into
yeah, you went. They were like
Yeah.
a foot long, and you went up to your 2 foot, and you went 3 foot.
Yeah, you just keep unfolding it. And
According
so
to how much she wanted to hurt you.
well, no, it wasn't that. It was my
You
little.
want to get a full swing at 3.
No. My grandmother's never touched me.
I know.
It was my little mean ass hitting the fucking
But
TV.
yeah, I remember the folding yardsticks. I remember those.
But this was my little mean ass hitting the TV whenever Barnabas Collins came on, and this
I
song,
watched that as a kid, though.
Quentin's theme from Dark Shadows, a show that even though Barnabas must have freaked me out as a 3-year-old kid, I dug the hell out of the show in reruns
Well,
decades later.
I mean, it was a soap opera.
It was not even basically. It was a soap opera.
It was a soap opera that was based on a vampire.
Shitloads of gothic.
Yeah.
Shitloads of interesting people.
Now, of course, Johnny Depp, and of course, what's the director?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton thought it would be great to make a movie out of it, and they just fucked it up hard. Don't ever watch Dark Shadows. It's a terrible movie. But no, but it was a great. It was a soap opera based on a kind of a monster thing. It was kind of like a Addams Family / but it was not a comedy.
No, it was vampires and werewolves
Yeah.
and ghosts and
Yeah,
but
but
that
it
kind
was
of
a soap
shit.
opera.
Yeah, it was
Kept the old ladies home and
the old ladies were already home at that time. So, number 17.
Mother Popcorn, James Brown, another James Brown song. I really don't.
Yeah, but
Okay.
by this point, James was purely in it for the cash.
Oh, you
like I
think?
said, as I mentioned in a previous show, this was no longer. I mean, in our first show actually, this was no longer time when James Brown was doing the cool shit like Live with the Apollo and so forth. This was, the same fucking song
This is by
75
the time
times.
he got into PCP and needed.
PCP wasn't around by then. He was just thinking about PCP.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, okay.
But he had. But he wasn't thinking about winning any awards with these songs. They
No,
were just
fuck no. He was thinking
pumping
about
out.
cashing that check.
Exactly.
So,
Oh Lord, I don't even know what to say about this next one. Number 16, Lay Lady Lay, Bob Dylan. I am not a Bob Dylan fan. Never have been a Bob Dylan fan. I appreciate what Bob Dylan does. I appreciate what Bob Dylan has done for the music community. But I wouldn't give you 5 cents for a Bob Dylan record, much less go see him live. And I know people that would just die to see him.
well,
So, there you go.
as somebody who owns the album Highway 61 Revisited,
I have that one. I got it from a relative.
the single Subterranean Homesick Blues, I do like Bob Dylan, and I have a great love for his songwriting capacity. The man won a Nobel Prize after all,
Right.
for his commitment to the arts, and I mean his songs transcend generations. Can he sing? Sometimes when he feels like it.
He come in sing.
Well, and he did that. He did that on purpose, which is a strange thing. But yeah, but that's but yeah.
I tell you what, I'll do the rest of the show doing that. What do you think about that?
What was the comedian that used to make fun of him? Like talking about
a bunch of them. Every comedian.
No, but I'm saying that somebody like doing a something for us. It was like about the baboon saying they got red asses.
I
Can't remember what that is.
But
Nevertheless,
no. The thing is, to be honest though, he's wrote some really great songs, and the remakes of those songs are great. I just don't like his presentation of his own music. How's that? Is that right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, his ability to write stuff is great, and when people take those songs and do something else with them, it's great. Just don't like his voice. I mean, it's like chalkboard on the
fingernails on the
Yeah,
chalkboard.
don't like it. So
Okay, well let's go ahead and jump to a group that I've already said that I really don't like. One more time.
But this song we knew, Green River.
Yeah, but I didn't.
CCR. I'm like you though. It's one of those songs where I mean, this band had a lot to do with the late 60s, early 70s. Had a ton of hits, but...
Mystifyingly so, yeah.
Do I sit around and listen to CCR all the time? No.
Fuck, I don't listen to it at all.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. So, no, it's... So we'll just skip that. If you like the song, enjoy it.
We'll go for it.
The next one was a...
The Youngbloods.
The Youngbloods Get Together, which is kind of a cool song. I mean, it's kind of one of the capstone songs of the 60s. The themes, you know, it kind of ties into what the Woodstock generation was.
Right.
And as we'll probably discuss more at the end of the show, the Woodstock itself was the end of the 1960s as a cultural event. The Vietnam War was still going on. The 70s became a completely different decade for a lot of different reasons. We were 3 years away from Watergate. Tricky Dick had just gotten elected and was in office for his first year. So it was a different place. But I do recommend that song as something to listen to if you're not familiar with it. You'll know it when you hear it.
Right.
But on the other hand, number 13 is by
I'm trying to figure this out real quick. Go ahead.
pretty prominent songwriter.
Shit, I want to do that. Anyway.
And that's Tony Joe White and the song Polk, P-O-L-K, Salad Annie.
Yeah. Polk Salad Annie, I think Jerry Reed, did he do that song too?
They probably knew each other. They were both from Louisiana.
So it's one of those songs that's been remade, I don't know, 100 times. And I looked it up on Spotify. There's a bunch of different versions of it. But Polk Salad Annie, but Tony Joe White, I'm losing my voice, has been, he's the guy that's known for, he's got the deep voice. He's like, Polk Salad Annie. He's always had that deep voice. He just died recently too, wasn't it? I think he died within the last year or two.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago, because I remember him talking about that. But yeah, that song's been redone.
Well, I'll tell you, here's a song that he wrote that I absolutely love, now that I've just pulled up his name. And that's Rainy Night in Georgia by Brooke Benton.
Had a deep voice, yeah.
Brooke,
yeah.
Well, Brooke Benton definitely had a deep voice.
But no, but yeah, Polk Salad Annie, I remember that. He kind of looked like a Mac Davis looking dude.
Kind of.
But yeah, no, it is a great song, and like I say, it's been remade a few times. We're gonna go on to number 12. Or you want to stay on Polk Salad?
No, I think we can give up Polk Salad for now.
All right. So we're gonna talk about "Laughing" by the Guess Who.
Ha 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 ha.
Big song for the Guess Who.
Bunch of fucking Canadians, mind you.
And
great band though. I love them.
I love that band. I like this song. It's
love Burton Cummings as lead singer.
Yeah.
Randy Bachman was in that group.
Yep. From BTO.
The original incarnation included Al Cooper.
Right.
So it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. So we're going to go from there to number 11. A little Blood, Sweat, and Tears. A little Spinning Wheel.
Absolutely. And this is David Clayton Thomas, the lead singer.
Right.
Spinning Wheel. Fantastic song.
It is great. Got great horns in it. Great this, great that.
Absolutely. But as we go into number 10, a name's going to pop up that I brought up earlier, and that's Mr. Andy Kim.
Yep.
Baby, 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 I love you. Whatever that goes. It's an all right song. You know, another Canadian. So we've got these goddamn Canadians that are infiltrating. So, but we love you, Canada. Not much. We love you because of Letterkenny.
And for Rush. Yes.
Not for fucking Rush.
Yes, we do. We love Rush.
Anyway.
Fuck you. I'm 50% of the shit, so we love
You are.
Rush.
That means we're 50% fucking tone deaf. So, anyway.
All right.
The next song, number 9, is Junior Walker and the All-Stars, one of the Motown acts. Mid-range Motown act, good act. What Does It Take to Win Your Love is probably their biggest hit. They had a few other fun songs, but this is the one that really got them to the top of the charts. And I'm going to continue on this because another Motown song comes right after that.
Right.
A guy by the name of Steve Morris. And this song is My Chérie Amour. as you better know him as Stevie Wonder. This was kind of him leaving the Little Stevie moniker and kind
Right.
of, before he was still 2 or 3 years away from
Sure.
really just breaking the hell out and being the all-world superstar
Right.
that he became, but he was already well loved.
He's already been Little Stevie Wonder,
Right.
and already known. And
I love this song. I really love this
it's
song.
a good song. Really good song. I actually thought this song came out later, so I'm really surprised about this. So
Yeah. But that brings us to number 7.
yeah, Ruby, don't take your love to town.
It's another Vietnam song.
Well, and it's Kenny Rogers in the first edition.
Some
This is
talented
not-
motherfuckers.
Well, and this is also, Kenny Rogers, not in his solo country type thing.
Right.
This was, and he was in. Originally he was in what?
Oh, shit.
Because they had a hit before it wasn't even known as Kenny Rogers. It was, God damn it.
Oh, and
Just keep talking and I'll find it real quick.
the name is going to escape me, but it was the New Christy Minstrel Singers.
Yeah. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was, and they had a big hit. Something you is. God damn it.
Look it up, that way we don't.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
We'd
So go
have to,
ahead.
we'd have to bumble and stumble. But, yeah, Kenny Rogers in the first edition, this is around the time that he eventually got his own TV show in the next year or so,
Right.
for a couple of
Which
years.
he wrote, a ton of hits.
But this is a fun song.
Right. Well,
not,
it is a good.
not from a standpoint of the content, because it's
Right.
actually difficult content, but again reflected the time.
Okay, so it was just dropped in to see what my condition was in.
That was Kenny Rogers too.
That was it, and he was in the new edition, the
No,
first
no.
edition.
No,
wasn't
no.
it?
Keep it looking, dude.
There's a counterculture written by chart for the new edition, which was recorded in 1976
Yeah.
or 1967.
Yeah, but look before that.
Hold on, I'm telling you, that's the one he was
Yeah,
known.
but I'm telling you, he was in the New Christy Minstrel Singers prior to that.
He was in there, yeah. Also,
That's what I'm saying.
right. I'm
So-
just thinking about that other one. It was kind of like a
Yeah.
70s or kind of a
Just dropped. Yeah, yeah. What condition my condition was
Yeah, that's
in.
it. Okay, so that makes been the
Yeah.
same people. Anyway,
Yeah, if you don't like my singing, of course,
please don't. Yeah, please don't do that again.
it's nothing that can be avoided.
Send $1 to Dennis Talbot, and I'll stop him singing.
Or buy some earplugs. So,
There you go.
we're
All right, but Kenny Rogers, like I said, and he's he wrote a ton of hits, a lot of those country.
You
story,
picked a
story songs.
fine time to leave me.
Well, not that
Lucille.
the gambler, this and that. He put his thing out there. So anyway, Jackie Del Shannon.
No, Jackie DeShannon.
DeShannon, there we go. Number 6.
Jackie DeShannon first hit the charts, I think, big with, because I love Burt Bacharach and Al
Right.
David, with What the World Needs Now Is Love. So this is Put a Little Love in Your Heart.
He's all about that. He's all touchy-feely, isn't he?
Look, dude,
Great singing song, though. Great
don't.
song.
I don't know if they
Great
wrote
song.
this or not, but
Good song.
don't fuck with Burt Bacharach and Al David. Those guys have more talent.
Bacharach were shit down the song.
Especially, dude, when you start fucking.
We've had this.
When you start fucking talking about, some of that shit, like Rush. So. Anyway,
great song. Number 5,
number 5 is the song. If you don't like this song,
Johnny Cash.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
A Boy Named Sue.
Boy Named Sue.
Johnny Cash. You gotta love it.
It's a fantastic song.
You don't have to love country to like Johnny Cash. I mean, it's one of those things where
Johnny Cash was
A Boy Named
fantastic.
Sue is a great tune, and I'm surprised that I didn't really. This was like I said, it was 1969.
9.
Okay,
Yeah, dude, we're doing 1969 Woodstock.
I know. I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it.
All right. So.
Number 4. Dun 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 dun.
Oh fuck.
Dun dun dun.
If you,
All right, so
if you
you
didn't,
don't know what the song
if
is.
you didn't get that reference, don't feel bad. I didn't recognize it either. I had to read what the fuck he was doing.
No.
But It's that shit they play, I think, for the Boston Red Sox. And
No, they do it at every karaoke thing and
Well,
every
that's
piano bar. If they're doing "Sweet Caroline" by Neil Diamond, which
if you want to get a stadium,
"Sweet Caroline," everybody going da da da.
Yeah. If you want to get 10,000 Jewish women swooning, well, of course, Neil unfortunately had to retire because of illness in the last year or so.
Oh, did he? I don't know. Well, trust me, every piano bar is carrying on his legend because they're just.
Yeah.
There's another one. There's some other kind of thing saying you got to do in his music. I don't even know about that one. There's another one that they got to do. So it's It's required singing whenever you hear a Neil Diamond tune.
Or not.
Yeah, all right.
So
according to who you're with.
Number 3, on the other hand, is a song that I always thought I absolutely love this song. I always thought it was a drug reference, but come to find out, Tommy James is a religious man, and this has religious connotations.
Huh,
As he explained, he hosts a show on XM Radio on the weekends, and was explaining it one time. But this is Tommy James and the Shondells, Crystal Blue Persuasion, far and away my favorite of his songs. Good artist nonetheless.
It's a good tune.
Great song.
Just a good tune, and it stayed around for a long time. You'll still hear these. You'll still hear it, here and there. Different deals.
Well, and it's and again, kind of like a couple of these songs that we mentioned earlier, reflecting the era as much as anything. This song definitely, I zero right in on that era. It doesn't transcend the time,
right?
But I love the song.
Yeah,
I agree. I carry it with me, but I transcend. But
I agree with you.
But the next 2 songs are interesting.
They're polar differences.
Polar opposite, absolutely.
I mean, and the thing is, one I could see for that year, 1969, I could see being there, and the other one I'm surprised it is at number 2. And it's the Rolling Stones.
Right.
Honky Tonk Woman. What a great rock tune. I mean,
absolutely.
But being that it's 1969 and it should be the year of psychedelics and all this other bullshit, I'm glad to see it at number 2.
Honky
Tonk Woman is a great just a great blues song. It's one of the Rolling Stones' staple songs, that they've done over the years.
Absolutely.
Good dude.
Yeah, no, I'm looking up real quick where they recorded this.
I have no clue. It says on the thing in London, so it was a distributor or their.
Well, no, that's the record album. I'm looking at the personnel who played on it. I'll be able to tell.
But yeah, it's kind of odd that they're in between. But there again, Sweet Caroline's not a drug-induced song either. Boy Named Sue isn't. So these, and we'll get into that here in a minute.
And Boy Named Sue's an alcohol-induced song.
That's true.
Since his daddy named him Sue, Drunken Super, probably. So, but nonetheless, yeah. But I mean, this was. This was one of the last 2 albums, I guess,
right.
The Rolling Stones in the 1960s, before they had their... since this is a show about festivals, this is before the horrible Altamont concert, the following year.
Which was a mess, where they had the
Hells Angels.
Hells Angels being there, people that helped out, and there was that shooting, and then they actually had that shooting. I've watched that. I've actually seen there's a whole movie about that.
Yeah, I've seen that documentary.
And we're a documentary where they have, Keith Richards is watching it, and they're watching this guy walk up and shoot that dude right in
they executed the fucker.
And it's a sad deal. It's just bad.
But the number 1 song,
right,
is definitely a song that
fits
that era so well.
And it was 6 weeks at number 1.
Yes, it was, and it's by a group that never had a duo that never had another hit song.
Never had another hit song.
But sometimes all you need is one to make a couple bucks and get your teeth fixed.
It's called a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, and that's Zager and Evans. In the year 25.
I always liked that song.
It's catchy, but when you listen to the lyrics, that when it gets to in the year 9510, we're a bunch of fucking amoeba blobs, and it's really kind of sad, but We haven't gotten to 95.10 yet.
Yeah.
Or
I wonder if
25.20.
I'm trying to think of where I'm getting my mind where I'm at. Matt, go ahead and go. I've lost my train of thought.
So that brings
Al
us
Gore. I wonder if Al Gore did he agree with this song?
I don't know, but he probably invented the internet in 69. So.
In the year 65, Al Gore.
Chicks still have big thighs.
wrote the code for internet.
Oh my God! So that brings us to the end. That brings us to the end of the chart, and I think that I just closed it.
And
unfortunately,
you know what, though? To be honest, now so this is the week ending, like I said, 16th of August, 1969.
Right.
We're talking, right at the end of the week of the biggest love and peace fest that we've ever had, to this date. Never been one since then. It's not really. I mean, there are a couple of bands that are represented at Woodstock, but not as many as you think.
But I think that's maybe part of the charm of Woodstock, and it was definitely the charm of.
It's more of the. It still was a fact of that. It wasn't a top 40 where it was. Top 40 is mainstream rock.
Right.
Now, there were some people from Woodstock who were in mainstream rock, but Woodstock was kind of that renegade rock, that kind of thing.
Well, Woodstock was for the cool people.
Right. Now, would you agree that Santana should have been there? That was kind of like a sore thumb.
Well, we're going to go through we're going to go through, and actually they had a pretty good, if you watch the video.
Oh, I know.
I
still got to sit through them.
They had a pretty good reception at Woodstock.
Right. Oh, they did. Seriously.
Yeah.
But that's when everybody was dry, was well fed.
Right.
Still not too fucked up. Toward the end, where everybody's wet, hungry, and really fucked up, then we just need to get some really good.
Right. Shit. So as we always do with each show, let's choose before we jump into the.
That's gonna be a tough one for me.
Most likely it would be, because I know you want to get that Elvis song in there desperately.
No, you know what? To be honest with me, there is not going to be. Okay, if I have to pick one, guess what I'm going to go with? One.
Oh, okay.
Because that is a decent song, and that's one that I continually, it pops up on my head, and I'll tell you the reason for it after the show. But it's funny. It's funny. You're going to laugh.
We keep getting.
You're going to laugh your ass off. But anyway.
Okay. And for those of you who really want to know, send him an email and he'll tell you.
No, I don't tell you. The other one I actually would think about is "Hurt So Bad," and not that version of it. There's other versions.
Yeah, but that's the
of
problem.
It.
This is from this chart. You can.
Well, then I'm not going to pull that one out. Okay, so one is the only one that I would do, to be honest. I wish there was a better Mama Cass, because I do love her a bunch, and I appreciate her music. I wish there was a better one on here. But no, it's just nothing on here that's big for me. Go ahead.
Well, for me, I actually would go with the other Three Dog Night song, "Easy to Be Hard."
Really?
I do like that song very much. On some of the other songs, I would say that not all of
Crystal Blue Persuasion.
Crystal Blue Persuasion.
I'd almost go that
maybe,
one.
maybe.
Almost go that one.
Yeah. But
Yesterday,
I would say
Roy
that
Clark's pretty decent, but I wouldn't go as far as putting it on my best songs.
I would say "Spinning Wheel" will probably make my top 3,000.
That's not bad.
I enjoy that.
That's not bad.
And possibly "My Cherie Amour," "Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town," and "A Boy Named Sue," along with the Christmas. So I mean,
you're a little bit more lenient than I am.
Well, no, it's not a matter of being lenient. I'm a bigger fan of the era.
That's true.
So
and
I mean,
there's more songs that I like that are newer that I'd rather put in than
right.
So.
And
I know I have 3,000, but I'm trying to.
Well, I mean, I do the same thing. We economize our list. I'm up to 121 or 22 songs.
I'm at like 20, 30.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I started mine before you, but you'll catch up, no doubt. But so yeah, that's it for the chart show. But now we're going to get into kind of listing some of the artists that were at Woodstock,
Right.
and we can kind of circle back to the chart to see exactly what you said about how the chart maybe didn't reflect the artists that were brought to Woodstock, because they really did go out and try to get the most,
Right.
and not everybody showed up, but the most creative artists they could to be there. And so starting on the Friday night of August 15th, the artist, the first artist to kick it off, as everyone has seen the movie knows, it's Richie Havens.
Right.
Very cool dude. Some of the other groups: Sweetwater, Burt Summer, who I have no idea, Tim Hardin, I know he is very popular. That guy, Ravi Shankar.
Yeah.
I think he showed up at every
event there was.
Yeah. Melanie, Arlo Guthrie.
Arlo Guthrie, I love.
Arlo Guthrie.
Love him.
Joan Baez.
Yeah.
And that was basically it for the Friday. But starting on Saturday, so we had a group called Quill, Country Joe McDonald, which with his famous...
Is that Country Joe and the Fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
And his famous Give Me an F cheer.
Yeah.
You know. And then we get to one of the greatest artists of all time, Santana.
See, I'm not a big fan of Santana. Never have been.
And the Soul Sacrifice performance at Santana at Woodstock is one of the great performances you can ever find on YouTube.
Right.
After that, John Sebastian from the Love and
That's
Spoonful.
Good. Right.
The Keith Harley Band.
Don't remember that.
And don't either. Incredible String Band. I do know who they are.
No idea.
Another group that I absolutely love immensely, and that's Canned Heat.
Yeah.
I love Canned Heat.
I appreciated that.
Bear Height, Bob Height, Alan Wilson, the Owl.
Right.
But that guy, I mean, those dudes were amazing.
Right.
Mountain with Leslie West, a dude that probably had the biggest fucking hands.
There was no recorded part of that, was there?
No.
I would like to seen that on some of the video.
Yeah.
That Mountain would have been great to see.
Right. Same thing. Grateful Dead. They did.
I could care less.
I saw Grateful Dead 3 times in concert, so I.
You're 3 times more than I will.
Well, it's that was one of the great experiences of all time. Seeing the Dead. They did some of their famous songs like Saint Stephen and Dark Star.
I did enjoy
and
it.
then they did the I'm trying to think of that dude's name.
That's about 9 hours of my life that I kept that you didn't get to keep. So
Yeah, well, I mean, again, you like fucking Rush and REO Shitwagon,
I know,
so
I'll do that too. So,
fucking Shitwagon. I'll see the Grateful Dead any goddamn time before I ever see REO Shitwagon.
Anyway, go ahead.
So, but then they did "Turn on Your Love Light," the old Bobby Blue Bland song, which is an amazing song. Then, of course, they had Creedence Clearwater Revival, blah blah blah. Who gives a shit? Then they had Janis Joplin, and that would have been fantastic.
Okay, I'm not a big Joplin fan. She is what she is.
Well, you're a heathen, but that's okay.
No, but I don't think that. I think Janis Joplin, if she wouldn't have died at 27, her career would have been done at 40. That's my opinion.
It's all right. James Dean made 3 movies, and they were all great. So
Yeah.
So the next band was another group that I absolutely love. That included a guy who is Drake's uncle and far more fucking talented, Mr. Larry Graham, the inventor of the slap bass. This is Sly and the Family Stone.
That's a good one. That's good.
They had a fantastic set, and then of course we had one of the all-time great bands of any generation, The Who.
The Who. No,
so they had
were they the closer?
Those
that night?
fuckers had a 23-song set.
Were they the close of that?
No, because we had Jefferson Airplane coming into the next morning. They played all night. They did Wooden Ships,
right?
Volunteers, White Rabbit, and then the Jefferson Starship closed out Sunday morning, and then when we started again on Sunday afternoon, Mr. What would you do? And Joe Cocker.
To me, that's the highlight of Woodstock. That when he does, have a little help from my friends.
Well, he did Feeling All Right, too, which...
but I'm still saying, that recording of that day and him doing it, that's where Belushi got his...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. And it is, that's an incredible performance.
Well, and it has a Bob Dylan song that closed out
Right.
the, what the hell was the Scorsese documentary,
Yeah.
Last Waltz,
Right.
which is a fantastic one, and that's I Shall Be Released.
Right.
Absolutely love that song done by the band. Country Joe and the Fish came back. This time it was the Fish. The first time it was just Country Joe McDonald, so I guess they had to fill in some shit.
Right.
Then they did the Fish cheer. Give me an F.
Right.
Yeah. After that, Alvin Lee, and 10 years after.
God. That's
absolutely incredible.
That is a great performance, man. Hey, please don't go. Hey, please don't go.
Exactly. And by the way, the Woodstock performance you want to see on YouTube for this one is I'm Going Home.
Right.
Absolutely wonderful.
Good stuff.
After them, speaking of the band, was in fact the band. So a band that I absolutely enjoy not because of the Canadians so much, but because of Lee Von Helm.
Not a fan of the band. I like a couple of their songs, but not a fan. But
I enjoy them.
It's just me.
After that, well, again, you don't have enough soul. You have no soul.
I have no soul.
I know.
No soul.
But after that is Johnny Winter.
Yeah, but I've never seen any Johnny Winter for that.
Well,
It
again,
was never recorded.
It was not. It didn't because it happened at 1 a.m.
Oh, there you go.
So, and then after that at 1:30 to 2:30 in the morning was Blood, Sweat, and Tears, who we mentioned
Really?
from the charts. So they were there. That didn't make it either. They did Spinning Wheel, God Bless the Child, and When I Die.
Right.
And then You Make Me So Very Happy, another fantastic song. From 3 to 4 a.m., Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Now, they were recorded.
Yeah, they were recorded.
I can't believe they were playing all night. That's crazy.
They did it from 3 to 4 a.m.
And people going, just let me rest for a little bit.
They started out with Sweet, Judy Blue Eyes.
Right.
Marrakesh Express also made that.
Right.
Mr. Soul made that.
Right.
And then a song that I absolutely love the first part of, and then the other part's like, and that's Wooden Ships.
Yeah, Wooden Ships is a great song.
So
I love that song.
The opening part of that song is just
Right.
amazing. And so then they had another group that I absolutely love that wouldn't have made the charts too much. That's Chicago-based Paul Butterfield Blues Band.
Right.
Fantastic group. Some of the members included Paul Butterfield, David Sanborn, Gene Dinwiddie. I'm sorry. They did, and they did blues like "Born Under a Bad Sign," "Driftin'," and then we got to the group that Dennis loves the most.
What's that?
Sha Na Na.
I thought they were early in the whole thing.
They were on Sunday.
Oh, really?
Sunday morning at 7:00.
So that was kind of like right before Hendrix. Well, it was
It was right before Hendrix. It was Monday.
Hendrix was like in the early morning too.
Yeah, so this was Monday morning actually.
Right.
So Sha Na Na, and then 9 to 11 a.m. was Jimi Hendrix. Mitch Mitchell was part of that, but
Right.
what's his face wasn't.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, then he closed it out actually not with the Star Spangled Banner, which is what everybody thinks. It was actually with Hey Joe Encore, and that's actually how Woodstock ended on a Monday morning when half the crowd had probably left by then, so they didn't get to see Hendrix's amazing set. But that's how these things run.
Or Sha-Na-Na's
Or Sha-Na-Na, yeah.
But the way that the movie shows it, they're very early in the thing. You think that it's not in chronological.
It's kind of like Pulp Fiction, man. You don't really know the sequence until you actually figure it out. So, but so yeah, this was the end of the 1960s musically. I would say that going into the 1970s, some of this feeling carried over. Some of the groups carried over.
But the times had changed.
The times had changed. Music had changed.
This is the last of the free love, peaceful gatherings.
Right.
And it wasn't too many years after this. Here we have the Who, in Cincinnati, and they bash up against the doors and people are getting killed, smashing into the things. Yeah, it was 8 years later, but it was the end. You're never going to have anything like this ever again. You cannot replicate it. You cannot do it again. It was a one-time thing. Just deal with it. You're never going to replicate it. Thank God it happened once, but it's
like doing a sequel to Debbie Does Dallas. It just doesn't.
Debbie did Dallas.
Debbie did Dallas.
You can't do it no more.
Exactly.
She already did it.
I mean, what?
The past tense.
It has to go to Fort Worth after that, I guess. I don't know, but
it'd be like Grandma Debbie.
Grandma Debbie. Exactly. Take your teeth out, Grandma. Anyway, but no, folks, we have one more show in this trilogy, and that's going to be my absolute favorite show, because that was really what I would consider to be, and I'll mention this when we actually record the next show, the high point of the 1960s musically. Music continued to get better in the 70s. In some ways, it did not in others.
Right. New genres became more of an output. And there were some genres that came up in the 70s that we would like to forget. The disco era.
Well,
there were some good songs in the disco
songs,
era.
But right.
Actually, we're going to have to, at some point, pick a thing of that and just talk about the disco era.
That's true.
It'd be
Probably
good.
like 78 after when the Bee Gees had
after Saturday Night Fever came out.
Right, exactly.
We need to talk about that at the peak. Because it wasn't too long after that, it fell apart.
And just for the reference of future shows, we're actually going to be doing shows from the 2000s and the 2010s, as well as the 90s as well. I have a year, I think, in the 2000s that I'm interested to do, just because of I was living overseas at the time and just some of the music influence that I saw away from the United States. But these three concerts that we highlight on this impacted our lives, impacted culture in so many different ways that, like Dennis says, people are still trying to recapture the moment, and you can't recreate that kind of a moment.
It's called lightning in the bottle.
Lightning in the bottle.
Once you get it, you can't get it. You can't replicate it.
That's exactly correct.
Exactly.
So, anyway, thank you for joining us on this episode, and stay tuned for part 3 of the chart shows concerts that affected our lives. Thanks.
See ya.